And as I promised you last night, we'll finish up the time for class. We must have 150 minutes every week. There is absolutely, positively no way we cannot. And our screencast last night, let's see how long it was and how we did. So our screencast, excuse me, was 93 minutes. So we need roughly another 50 minutes or so. And you'll have your 150 minutes of instruction, which you're going to get from me whether you like it or not. That was funny, wasn't it? It's Friday night, I'm tired, but I promised I'd do this. And so I am. Now, tonight, we're going to go on and look at database case number 5. And this deals with Hollister University. This is a university that's dedicated to nothing except making Hollister clothing. That's not true, that's a lie. This is a case of an admissions committee at a university, and they want to develop a database system to handle, making decisions on, people getting into college. What else? Well, they also want to have a system they can use so when people call in, they can respond to callers. So, all kinds of good stuff. Now, I want to say this, last night, we got a sampling, and I think it was Conway who gave us a sampling of some really cool music, I believe, or sometime, I forget, maybe it was yesterday. Now, I want to say that was one of the great moments I've had in teaching. Anyway, more great moments are afoot. So, my friends, this is screencast for November 2nd, 2017, part 2. We're going to cover access case number 5. Now, access case number 5 is over on page 202 in the Solve It textbook. They give us some information about this university. They have a graduate school of education. They have an admissions office that gathers applications. And they want all kinds of data about the students who are applying. And they want to have the ability to respond to calls that people call. And they want to upgrade their decision-making processes. So this is pretty typical. So they say, let's create a database. And if you look over on page 204, you're going to see the tasks in the case. Okay? There are 2 main tasks that the faculty require: a listing of all the applicants for professors on the admissions committee who want to see the applicants listed by decreasing GPA scores. Students with the same GPA should be sorted by decreasing GRE scores. Okay? All righty. Let's go over here to the files. And as usual, we're going to come into the Solve It student files, where we typically would. But I think what I'm going to do tonight is take a shortcut on Hollister and take a look at it. In fact, I have a Hollister right here, and let's look at it for a minute. See how condition it's in, if it's a finished product. And so I've got publish there, and then we'll download it. You see, this is what I did from last spring, so this may be a pretty good one. Looks like it's going to be. And I'm going to take this file, save the database, and I would save it as Hollister on the desktop. I've enabled the content, and I'm ready to go. Now, before we do anything, let's just take a look. Now, I did some of the work here, but let's look at the file, open it up, okay? This is the table, and we're going to close the shutter because there's a lot of information on this table. Now, this is what I would call a dimension table because it really doesn't list transactions. If we have a thing called a production table, we call it a production table because it lists transactions. Something has happened. Somebody bought something. Somebody returned something. Somebody ordered something. Okay? This is just simply a list of people based on certain characteristics. Okay? Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is building this table. Now, this table has a problem. First of all, it doesn't have an auto ID. It doesn't give us the ability to make sure that every single record is unique. Now, I granted that the odds of someone having the same name, blah, 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 are pretty low. However, it's not a bad idea for us to do that just so that we know how many of them we have in the first place. So let's go down to the design view on Hollister. Okay. I'm going to come down here under ethnic, their ethnicity. Let's do some changing first. On this thing where it says male, we're going to make that gender. And we're going to make that a text. And then, let's see, essay, name first, name last, and then come under ethnic. Let's just call that ethnicity. Okay. And we're going to do a little table building here. Now we'll run some queries, but I want to build this table and do a nice job. So let's save these and go up top. Okay. Save the table we want to, yeah. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a table regarding gender. Okay. And let's go ahead and take the shutter out a little bit more. And we're going to click create. And we're going to go to the table design. And the field name will be female. And I know, you know me, I'm a joker. I enjoy a good laugh now and then I hear back at me. And I know we could put and we're going to put in their gender. We're going to put in the gender. I don't think we need an ID for that. And we'll just call it text. Okay? Now, I'm just going to get rid of that field. This is getting weird. I'm going to put funny here for a minute. Now I'm going to get rid of this. I'm just going to delete this field. I don't want it. Delete the row. Okay. Now I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to save it as gender. Now I'm going to do this old school. I want to show you something. This is how old people have been in the business. But this is in the old days when we didn't have icons to identify different objects. We do this we do TBL gender. That way we know, okay, this is the table. Now they say we have no primary key, and it's going to insist on this. So now we're going to put required. Yes, it's going to be required 0 length and indexed. No, I don't think we need to. And we're going to come up to the top. We'll save this table, and we're going to have female and male. Okay? And we're going to save this. Now we're going to do a lookup table. Now we've done this several times, and we're going to do this just so that it saves typing and it makes sure everything's kosher, in good shape. So let's come up here now, and we're going to go to the gender. In fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make gender all capital like everything else. Capitalize it. Okay. And then we're going to come down here. I'm going to put, is it required? Yep, it's required. And on the lookup, we're going to come over and do a lookup. We're going to do a combo box. And we're going to have a bound column, and we're going to have a column count 2. Okay, and the column widths will be, we're going to make that 3 inches, semicolon, 3 inches. All right. And then we'll go back up here to the row source. And this is where we're going to click on row source. See my cursor, it's blinking. You see my cursor here, and the little infinity button. And we're going to find the table gender. We're going to add it. And we're going to put in the gender. And we're going to run that, and it will show us female or male. Now, we're going to close this. We'll say yes, we're good. And there's the SQL from our query that's going to fill in. This is the lookup table we created. So let's go up to the table view for Hollister. We'll save this, and we're good. Now, if you come over, let's come over here and let's find gender. And we know they meant male, they meant female, they meant female, they meant male, they meant female, they meant male, they meant female, they meant, when they say yes, they meant a male. Yes, they meant male. So we're filling that in because it's just not right. Let's put it like that, folks. I think it's about as well. I'm not going to go any further. When a male, it's a male. And see, the drop-down menu makes it much easier. Pardon me, that would be a female. And then the yes here would be a male. This next yes would be a male. No would be a female. See, we're just making this, we're enforcing this now. Be a male. That would be a male and a male. Now let's go over here and see if the name's somewhat verified for sure. Okay. Now we've got school, and you say, why don't we do that? Well, I don't know. The same thing with major, we could do that. So we could have, for the different majors, we could have a drop-down table for that. We could certainly, we would want to have a drop-down, we want to have a lookup table for ethnicity. Okay? And we'd look for anywhere that we could make sure that we have the data. Now we're going to go back in here to this Hollister table and go back to the design view. The last name, we're going to the general. We're going to make sure it's required. Okay. The first name, it's going to be required. The address, it's going to be required. It's crazy to create this database and not require this stuff. So I'm really focusing on some table building here, because we're going to do some simple queries, and this will be required. Now he said, Dr. Harmon, would it be possible on the state that we would create a lookup table that has all of the 2-letter codes for the states? Absolutely, you would want to do that. Unless you have, you'd want to just simply because it's going to make a lot of use. So you'd have all 50 states where you'd have a lookup, you'd design a table that has, okay, the 2-letter code for the state, then the name of the state, and the thing that would show would be the name of the 2-letter code. All right. And you could, probably you could go to the internet and find a file and put it into Excel and import it. So you're not trying to spell all these state names out, because how many of us can spell Massachusetts correctly? I'm not lifting my hand on that one. So state would be one. Another candidate for that. We want to make sure that the state is required. Yes. The zip code. Yes, we want it required. We don't want any incomplete records. We're crazy if we allow it. It pays money to design this database. Are they an alumni? Yes or no? Is it they have a default value? Yes or no? And I don't like the lookup part, but we'll go along with this. Phone number, is it required? Yes. You say, Dr. Harmon, I remember at one point we did one of the things called an input mask. Yeah, we're going to do an input mask for the phone number. And there it is. We're going to do that one next. Next. And without the symbols. With the symbols, so we see the number. Now I'm also going to go back up here to zip code. And on the zip code, I don't think I need a field size of 255. So instead, I'm going to use an input mask. Okay, and I'm going to put 9, because you can have a 9-digit zip code. And on the input mask, here it is. And with the symbols, they're finished. So we're doing a lot here to improve this. The phone number is required. We've got that formatted. The age, definitely we want to have that required. Again, why? We've got the gender, okay? We've got a lookup table for that. The school they came from, that's required. Go back to gender, it's required, the school, and the GPA. Now on that gender, we may need to add a third one, which would be not given, okay? And probably there are going to be some of these other ones like the age, you would put not given. Yeah, it's just going to depend. And we've got the GPA. We definitely want to know that one. You can see I'm spending some time with you on table building. The major. Now, it's going to be required. And we could have all the majors and the university. I want to make sure that says yes. Okay. So you want to control this as much as you can. Here's the GRE score. Is it required? Yes, I want that required. I mean, it's just, we need the data. There's no point. Here's an essay. This is required. So we're spend some time building this table like it should be done in the first place. References, score, required. And as they mentioned in the text there, these students have to do these applicants have to do a reference thing. Okay. And then it's graded or it's rated. So that's required. Look at ethnicity. And again, we could do the ethnicity. So you see what I'm saying is that I don't feel the need for us to repeat over and over doing lookup tables, but when you create a table, the first thing you want to do is how do I control the input so I get what I want and what I need, okay? And so we'll go back here up to the view. We'll save it. Now, the only thing we have left, which you didn't do, let's go back and do that right now. Come down under ethnicity, and we're going to make it called applicant ID. And we're going to make that an auto number. Okay. Now, on that, it's so, and we're going to put it's indexed and we're going to put indexed and yes, no duplicates. We won't have any duplicates. Every applicant. Now, if somebody reapplies, okay, they're going to get a new number. That's why we're using this. So let's say they apply, withdraw, and then decide to apply again. Well, they'll get a new number. There's one other thing I want to do before this. Let's take this applicant ID. Let's put it all the way up to the top here. Just do it by taking that, maneuver it up. There we are. Now we got a workable table. We have a few more. Yeah, for this to be really, really, really well done. Okay. Yeah. Again, we'd want to have, these a lookup table for the states. Okay. And we'd also would want, I also would say this, we'd want a table, we would want a lookup table for ethnicity. And we'd also want, a lookup table for the references. What does a 5 mean? What does a 4 mean? What does a 3 mean? Same on the essay. So you can see there's a number of things that we could do here. Okay. And, and that way we really tighten this up. Okay. So I don't feel the need to go back through it over and over because they don't exactly tell us what a 5 or 4. It's just a rating scale of some kind. But we would want to find out what does that mean. So we'd have a lookup table at the very least. Okay. Now, we can do something with this. And let's look first of all at the essay. Looks like the highest score they can get is a 5. Let's go back into the design view, and we're gonna use a validation rule on the. Let's see on the essay. Go back up and see on the essay what's the highest that they can get. And we could put a validation rule in there that says equal to or less than 5. Let's try that. And so we'll come down to the validation rule. Let's click on here. And we want it to be equal to or lesser than 5. And click OK. Okay. Or we want that for a validation rule. So we'll put that right here. I'll put that equal to or lesser than 5. And in fact, let's do this. Let's put and see if it gives us a validation text, and we'll put a bracket. And I think that'll do it for us. Let's go back up here and see what it does. We'll say the table. Now I'm going to come in here and let's go over here to one of these, and we put in on the essay. I think it's on the essay. Okay. And I'm going to enter 6. No, that's not the one I did. 5. I'm putting in 6. Well, what did I do here? Let's go back down to this and look at this validation rule. Okay. Back over here into the validation rule area. And, okay. They want the fields on business. Well, we'll deal with that another time. We'll just leave this as it is for now, because I don't want to go in and mess around with this. Okay. So anyway, really the validation rule is okay. The best way to control that would be a lookup table with the essays from 1 to 5, and then something labeled that tells us what that means, and the same thing for references. Okay. All right, so we've got that done, and we strengthened the table, and we're ready to go. Okay, now we've really done number 6, and we've really done number 1, part A. Okay, and we've done part 6. We've made the table and group, but we're going to do one other thing. Okay, and it's this: we're going to create a form. And the reason is if you look over here on page, if you look here, there under number 2, it's this page 204. The clerks insist on having rapid access to students' complete records on the basis of last name only. That's easily done. We're going to click create. Okay, and we're going to do more forms, and we're going to do a split form. Okay, you say, okay, what's the point of this? Well, if we're inputting data, okay, then we'll see the table change as we input data. So we can use it in that way to input data. Okay. On the other hand, if somebody calls in and they say, hey, this is Ben Farber. And so I look for Farber. it's going to take me right to Ben Farber. Now, I also like this split view for another reason. Since I have these applicants numbered, I'm probably going to start to get a sense of how many there are and how long has it been since we had contact. In fact, I would also want to have some data over here, like some notes. Okay. And so I would also include some notes. This is another way we'd improve the table. I want to be able to do that. So let's just close this off. And we don't want to change it, okay? In fact, let's go and let's look at that. So we didn't save the form. And I'm going to go back to the Hollister table, and let's open it up. And let's go into design. As I said, I was going to really focus on the design of this. We've got ethnicity, and let's add one final column. We're going to add one final field, and that's comments. Okay? And we're going to put that in the form of a memo. And we're going to put, yes, it's required. Okay? And so now we have comments. So when they, we now have comments. So as we need to, we could, likes dogs, likes, that type of thing. Now I'm ready to close this off. I'll save the changes. And now I'm ready to do my form. So I'm going to click create. And I'm going to do the split form. And now, as you notice, I have a comments section. Okay? And I can input that data. Okay? And it's in the form of a memo. And I can put likes dogs. Okay? And there we go. And let's go back up to that person. Let's see if we can see the comment, and it likes dog. Isn't that nice? So I can do a search for that person on a last name basis. Because of the form, I have a free text area. I can go, record to record, etc. So we've really improved this a whole lot. Okay, and it will be far easier as we go along to add new students. Okay, so let's close that off there. So we've got that done, and we're going to call that Hollister. So we have the form. Now we have a lookup table we've created. We've really improved this database a lot, and we're not going to have any anomalous records. We're not going to have any record. We're not going to have any records that have empty fields. The record will not save. That's how you stop having a whole bunch of reports where you have a whole bunch of empty spaces. This is what we call the problem of null data. Is it empty because it should be, or is it empty because it's a zero? And if we don't know the answer to that, then we need to go back and redesign the table. The table is the start of everything. Okay? And if I open this up, I say, okay, these people, let's go to design view. These folks are recruiting students. What are they interested in? Well, we want who are they and where are they from? But we're interested also in gender. We want to know what school they've applied to, been accepted, their GPA, their major, their GRE, and essay. So we've got, like I said, this is really like I would call a dimension table. And look, there's our comment, likes dogs. All right, now task 1A. Let's look at that over here. It's on page 204. They say, listing of all the applicants for professors on the admissions committee who want to see the applicants. This is the kind of stuff people are going to throw at you at work. So you'll want to keep notes and make sure and say, is this really what you want? Listed by decreasing GPA scores. Students with the same GPA should be sorted by decreasing GRE scores. So here's what we want to do. We want to put GPA in decreasing order. Then we'll put GRE in decreasing order. Okay? and we'll get what we want. Let's click on this query, okay, that we have, and let's look at the design of it. Excuse me. Now here we have their last name, we have the school, we have their GPA and their GRE, all right? And notice something, their GPA is this, we're sorted it on a descending order, lowest, highest to lowest, the same for GRE. Now, any database, when you do this type of multiple sorting, goes left to right. When we're in Excel, when you're working in Excel, and you remember some of the cases you had where we sorted things, and we talked about a primary sort, secondary sort, and a tertiary sort, or the first level, second level, third level. It starts with the first level, then to the second and the third. In a database, it starts and moves left to right. A spreadsheet, it goes up and down. Okay. Now we're getting tools developed, and we've developed the way that we can look at the up and down, the across. Okay. So we've got these in descending order. Now let's look at this and make some sense of it. Now here we have two people with the same GPA, Hunter, okay, and Bennett. But one has a higher GRE. So while they have the same GPA, one has a higher GRE than the other. Okay, so what we're doing is we're strategizing. We're saying, okay, if we can't differentiate them on the basis of their GPA, then we'll differentiate them on the basis of their graduate record exam. Okay? That's why we talk about slicing and dicing these data. So that's task 1A. They're on page 204. Now, look, I'll say this many, many times. If I had 1,000 of these names, I'll tell you where these are headed. They're going to get exported out to Excel, so I can do some statistical wizardry with them. I can put them in. What I probably do is, if I had that many cases, even 500, 100, I take them out and I throw them out into a pivot table. Okay. That was so brilliant, I got choked up. All right, let's close that. Now let's talk about task 1B. They want a second listing showing the applicants sorted by decreasing GPA. Students with the same GPA should be sorted by decreasing references scores. Print out the results of both listings. Okay, here we are. Let's look at this again. And we're going to open this. And here we are. If they have the same GPA, then we differentiate them on the basis of references. So we're looking at GPA and how they did on references. You say, could we combine them together where we did? Could we put 1A and 1B together? Certainly. Okay. So let's just do that. Let's just query design. Now I'm going to add McAllister. Okay. And I'm going to get the last name. Then I'm going to get the GPA. And I'm going to put the GPA in decreasing or descending order. Then I'm going to get the GRE. And I'm going to put that in descending order. And I'm going to get the references. And I'm going to put that in descending order. Now we're really slicing and dicing the data. Let's look up here. All right. Our top candidate is Evans. How do I know? Well, Evans has a 3.8, the highest GPA. Evans has the highest GRE, and Evans has the highest references. So on the basis of those criteria, Evans is my first choice. I'm going after Evans. Then I'm hunting for Hunter. I love that. And then Bennett. You see? That's how we start to really, and when you've heard me talk about that analytical cube or slicing and dicing the data, that's what we've just done. So I'm going to save this query, and I'm going to save it as task 1A and task 1B. Okay. Now, let's go back into the design view of this and see if we can slice the data even more. We've got their references. Let's do this. Let's put in their essay and put that in descending order. In fact, let's do this. Where I have references, change that out for the essay. And where I have essay, let's put that in references. And you say, why did we do that? Well, the GPA and the GRE, GPA is how they're done in grades at school and classes. GRE is a standardized exam. The essay is an essay thing. We have them and we grade it, okay? And then we have the references. Now let's see how this all looks. Now we have Hunter, who has a 3.7, has a 620 on the GRE, has a reference, his essay is 3, his references are 4. Okay, and you can see we get just such a much clearer picture. So we combined 1A and B, and really we modified it to get that really good picture. And this allows us to talk about these in a little bit better fashion. So we're going to close that off. We'll save it. Now I'm not going to do a report because you know how I am about reports in Excel. I hate them. It's just clunky. They're nasty. And so we'll close off 1B. So we've done 1A and 1B. We've done really 6. Now here's number 3 on page 2 of 4, which is my favorite. Bierman. I like that name. Isn't that a cool name, Bierman? If it was my last name, I'd change the B-E-E-R-M-A-N. But that's just me. Bierman wants a report or listing of just the applicants who are children of the corn. Oops, I mean children of the alumni. So this is what I call the children of the corn. I use this as a crib sheet in committee deliberations. Okay. So let's go back here to task 1A and 1B, because this is our best query where we really sliced and diced the data, because there they give us some monkey business about, well, you know, if they're not really the best qualified academically, even if they're what we would call a legacy student, you know, they're children of the corn, they're child of the bison, they're child of an alumni. Okay, I'll put the alumni, and let's see what we get. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to close this off, and I'm not going to save it, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this task 1A and task 1B, and I'm going to copy it and then paste it. Don't worry about it. Now I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn. I like that. Isn't that cool? Now we can look up here and say, yeah, the children of the corn. What? Wait a minute here. Okay. What did I do here? Oh, my children of the corn. I'm going to go back in here. Let's go to the design view, and then I need to do the alumni business. There we go. Are they children of the corn? So we've got this as kind of a fudge sheet. So if we have a student that's, come down here and look, okay, now Evans, but now we've got Roush, who is a 3.6 and a 660 GRE, 4 on an essay, 4 on references, and an alumni. So would I be willing to say, okay, in terms of these, would I move Roush up to my number 2? Probably so. If this was really, if having a what we call a legacy student would be really valuable, we'd move Roush right up above Evans. You see what we got going on here? Okay, we're going to save that. So we've even done a little bit more. We've done, that's actually task 3, but I called it Children of the Corn. Here's the original task 3 that I did. Okay, that's boring, isn't it? But you know, hey, here's this is okay. This one has their GPA, their GRE, and are they alumni, and the school to which they were admitted. So we didn't do that. So let's just go back to Children of the Corn. Let's make sure we get everything. And we'll get the school. And we're going to put the school in ascending order. And let's see what we got. That way they're alphabetized. Yep, there we go. So far, we've breezed this. As I told you, you know, we focused on building the table. Then we can run the queries to our heart's content, and you can see the reports down there if you wish. Now, on number 4, they want one that shows on task number 4, the faculty member would like a report that places the strengths of the non-science majors. Okay, create a report that lists applicants by college majors showing name, GPA, and reference score. Students of the same major should be sorted by GPA. Well, here's task number 4. Let's look at it for a moment. Okay, now here they are. Okay, here's their major. Here's their GPA. Okay, and we've got the references. Now, name, GPA, and reference scores. Students of the same major should be sorted by GPA. So, let's go under here and look at the design view and see if we did anything with the GPA. And we'll put that in descending order, and let's see what that looks like. Okay. And we'll close it off. That'd be that would be task number 4. So we've done task, and then number 5. This is calculate the average scores on all quantitative variables, display the number of applicants for each area, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here's the statistics by majors report. I'm going to open it up and show you. Okay. Now, so we've got my major, my business, and as I've told you before, this can get these reports in and can become kind of a battle. But I'm going to do something here for a moment. Click up here on Database Tools, and then click on Object Dependencies. And we'll see objects that I depend upon And this is drawn right from the Hollister table. Now, as they use the wizard, okay, they did the grouping, and then they got the averages. Okay, if you want to see it kind of done, let's just do this. Okay, we're going to click create. I'm going to do a report wizard, and I'm going to use Hollister. Okay, and I want to get let's see here. I want to get the statistics by major. So I want the I'm going to get the major. And the GPA, the GRE. Let's see, on all the quantitative variables, okay. And we'll get the essays because that's got a numeric score and references. Okay, so we've got the major, the GPA, the GRE, the essay, and the references. I'll click next. Now we're gonna group these, okay, on major. Okay. Now we have some grouping options. We'll stick with that, so we're okay there. And now we have these other quantitative variables. And we're gonna click next. And now, because they're all quantitative, we can get the average for each one of them. We'll click OK. We'll click next, next, and we'll finish this. And there they are. Okay. So we'll just save that. That was fairly easy to do that. We just went right to the report. Typically, you do a query, then generate the report to get that. Well, and just to reinforce this business about duplicates, required fields, etc., the text does a pretty decent job starting over on page 205 through 206, through 207, and all the way over to 2009, okay, 208, telling you about this. Now, on page 208 through 209, they talk about the find command. Okay, all right. Let's go back up in here to Hollister, and I'm going to open that. All right, now, you know the phone's ringing, and I'm going to come over here, and the phones are ringing off the wall. People are calling. They're wanting. I'm going to click home. All right, and then I'm going to find. And I'm going to try, and I want to find these people. Okay, so I'm looking up here, and oh my goodness, here it is. There's find. How clunky could that possibly be? But I can do this. Close it off, and I can go to the form. And hi, this is Ben. And I'm going to say, okay, Ben. All right, now I'm getting Ben. What's your last name? Well, my last name is Evans. Oh, okay. All right. Now we might have some talking points in our comments, like, is a fan of the New York Yankees, which means this is a person who has great taste in baseball teams, or a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals who has great taste in baseball teams, or a fan of the Houston Astros. That's definitely a person who's evil. I'm teasing. But you can see where this form with the free text search needs, and then you've got some talking points. Okay, and you also know what record this person is. Now, if you create these records using an auto number, so that each time someone comes in, you're going to start to get a sense. Now, there's one final piece of this puzzle that we would want to do. I'm going to go back up here to the Hollister. And I'm going to come over here. Let's go to the design view. And we're going to add one final, and we're going to put date. I'm going to put contact date. Okay. And that's going to be in the form of date and time. If I want to do an input mask for that, I can. And we're going to do let's do short date. Okay. So when someone calls in, we'll have the date. Or the contact date. Okay. Then we really do have something, and let's see if it affected our form. We'll say yes. And let's look over here in Hollister and see if we have date in our form now. And let's squinch all the way over there. No, it doesn't. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add a field to this form. Or what we can do, okay, is just simply, I would close this off, and I'd get rid of that form because we still have data in the table. See, that's why we have the table. And I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to click create, and I'm going to do more forms. I'm going to do a split. Okay, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do a split form, and there's the contact date. Good. Okay, so we've really covered a lot of ground here. And again, save the, pardon me, I want to save the object. I want to save the database as, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put Hollister Access 5. And I'm going to save it on my desktop. Okay, and then you can upload it. Now I'm going to be a sweet, nice person. And I'm going to copy that file up here and upload it. So I'll go here and look at the desktop. And I'm up here and here's Hollister Access. I thought I had called it Access 5. Open it up and see. No. Yes, I did. I mistook the 5 for another S. So click on that, and we'll open it up. I'll add it up there. It's there. And that Hollister Access 5, that's published. That's the one I want you to use to upload for access case number 5. Okay, my friends? Did the grading, I want to talk with you about, folks, just a minute about that. Okay? Now, you've come to understand now that when I give you an exam, I give you an objective exam and a hands-on. I was really surprised and very pleased at the great number of you who actually went and looked at the example I provided you for exam 2, part 2, which is the hands-on part. Some of us just didn't. The biggest issue for most people was not using that example to sort those Now your charts are pretty decent, okay, but where we hit a snag was on categorizing those sales, low, medium, high. There are a few of you who, I think one or two people who did do a nested conditional statement, and I admire your courage. Most of everybody else who did it used a VLOOKUP, used the database function. Okay, so when you get ready to do the final exam, I'll talk some more about this. I have a final exam part one instructions. I have a screencast for the instructions for final exam part one, because that's kind of a hands-on part. And then 2, 3, and 4 of the final are so exam. You could tell. Put part one. Upload your Access file here. Then there's an Excel file. So I have a screencast of instructions. Then parts 2, 3, and 4, which you do at the end of the final exam period, those are all quizzes. Okay, it's part one. So hopefully now when you see this, you'll go, oh, he gave me instructions. I think I should follow them. Yes. Okay. All right, my friends. I think I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording, and this will be it for this week.